What's really good, my people? This your boy Smolito. This Smolito's Way coming at you with another video. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. Show some love to the channel. Much love to all my supporters. Let's get into this. So yesterday, Shoota 93 did a live, and he was basically addressing all the little allegations that's came out, and basically from Hassan Campbell. I haven't heard anybody else say anything about Shoota 93, but recently, Crown Courts TV, I believe is the thing. YouTube channel released the testimony of CEO Chris. Now, CEO Chris was one of the main witnesses, one of the main snitches in the Treyway case, along with Tekashi. Obviously, everybody knows about Tekashi, but if you're not really in tune, you don't know, or you didn't hear about CEO Chris's part. Well, CEO Chris, you can go and look it up. It's public information. And Crown Courts TV has it up right now, his testimony. And he said a lot of names. He said, they were talking about a particular person called Gato. And in that little segment, they mentioned Shoota 93, and basically saying that Shoota 93 was upset because Gato was owed money to pay for a lawyer, which CEO Chris never paid him. And he was just pretty much trying to get him to pay his lawyer fees. That's it. So Hassan Campbell, of course, Mr. Extra, went and took this and said that he wonders why Shoota 93 was not indicted in the thing, or, pretty much implicated in saying that Shoota 93 should be part of the indictment, being that he was mentioned by CEO Chris. Now, if you understand what was said on that testimony, it had nothing to do with Shoota 93 as far as drug sales, nothing like that. It was him being upset over his friend being basically shitted on and debted on his money for his lawyer. It was an agreement reached between CEO Chris and Gato, who was incarcerated at the time, that CEO Chris would sell drugs for him in order to pay for his lawyer fees, and he would take half of the money, and the other half, which was Gato's, will go to his lawyer fee. And that's what Shoota was trying to, basically was upset about. They never talked. It was nothing like that. So, it's Hassan Campbell, being his usual self, makes a 2 or 3 hour live talking shit about him, Jim Jones, and the whole nine. And Shoota basically addressed it, said what he had to say, which, made complete sense and is the truth. Why the hell would he be indicted when he doesn't do anything? He said he makes music, as you know, as well. If you know Shoota 93, he makes music. He's a musician. I think he's a personal trainer or something like that. And he stays out the way. But you see, what makes me laugh is that Hassan Campbell wants to give opinions and this, that, and the third. And this is an opinion-based business, right? So I guess, a lot of people are paid to to give their opinion, and that's cool and everything. Opinions are opinions. But when he starts talking, he talks about it like it's fact. And then you should do your research and do a fact check before you start acting like these are facts. When it comes to the feds, if you haven't been in the feds, then you should shut the fuck up about it, right? Like, you shouldn't really have too much to say about what their procedures are and what could happen. Now, to my understanding, I do feel like a lot of people feel, which is, it's funny how Jim Jones kind of slipped through the cracks on all this, and knowing and seeing, rather, how other people have been implicated, other people have been brought down in federal cases, which I'm very familiar with because I've seen a few people get caught up in a conspiracy, and it didn't take much of anything. Actually, they went down for phone calls. Very, very, very vague phone calls, where they were ordering drugs, rather. We're talking about fiends now getting caught up in indictments. Not even like people selling drugs. I'm talking about people buying drugs to get high with, getting caught up and getting a couple years for conspiracy. So that's why I kind of looked at it funny when I heard the language that Jim Jones used, and just heard the overall, the whole tape. I felt like it was something that could have been used in a federal indictment. It could have been something that could have basically got him wrapped up square in the middle of that indictment. So I have questions. But be that as it may, I have no paperwork to prove my suspicions or anything like that. So I'm not going to sit here and say, definitely he did, definitely he didn't. I don't know. Now, this brings me to another person called China Brim. China Brim has been out here saying that he has paperwork on Jim Jones. He released some paperwork. People are calling it into question, saying that it's fake. It's from the UK. Supposedly, it's not real paperwork, but this man is trying to, pass it off as paperwork. I don't know. I haven't seen the paperwork. It doesn't, it's not really that important to me for me to go and investigate it, because at the grand scheme of things, I don't give a fuck. Jim Jones is a snitch. He's a snitch. I don't care. But my problem with people like China Brim is that if you actually do have the paperwork, because he says that there's more paperwork that he's not releasing for whatever the reason may be. But if you're so gung-ho on trying to expose Jim Jones, why the fuck don't you just say it? Just put an end to all the speculation and all the bullshit that's going on and just show the paperwork. Just put him on blast. Just point blank period. Release the paperwork. I don't know what you're waiting for, a payday or whatever the case may be. That's probably not going to happen. And it's starting to be like, for me, if you from the streets, you understand. One of, if not the worst thing a person could say about you is that you're a snitch. You're no good, and whatever the case may be. That is not taken lightly. That can make you lose your life, lose all credibility, lose everything in the streets. So when you're saying that and you don't have any actual factual truth or proof of it, you're playing a dangerous game with not only the person's life that you're accusing, but also yours, because you can be... Look what happened to Nipsey Hussle for accusing somebody of being a snitch. He got murdered. It's a dirty, very dangerous game to say and accuse somebody of that. Next to being gay or some shit like that in the hood, that is, if you're in the streets and all that, like, there's a lot of gay dudes running around the hood. I'm talking about if you a street dude and you running around with mooks and doing all type of crazy shit, that's a stain too. But I'm just saying, like, being a snitch is probably the worst of the worst. So for me, if China Brim has this paperwork that he claims to have, just release it already, man. Release it already. I mean, at this point, you already done dragged the dude's name through the mud. People are interested, but if you at this point, if you're not releasing it, to me, it just looked like you just trying to get a name. You just clout chasing. Apparently, this dude just came home, and he's trying to get a name for himself. He's probably been hearing about all the people coming up on YouTube, doing what they got to do on YouTube, trying to get in where he fit in. I respect it. Everybody's trying to do it, including me. But in the same token, there's right and wrong ways to do it. If you're gonna drag a dude's name through the mud and you ain't got no proof, to me, that's just some lame shit, because for a dude like him that claims to have been in jail 20 some odd years, that's not the procedure, that's not protocol. Like, if you got paperwork, let it be known. You got to show that. If you don't show that, then you already know what it is for you. You'll play. That's it. Because if you're going to go in and put a man's name on the line and put his legacy and his name, drag it through the mud, and you ain't got no proof of it, then that leaves your head on the plate. So I'm just really, it's just annoying to me. It is what it is. Like, this YouTube shit is real weird. You got dudes 50 years old still trying to be down and be blood and all this crazy shit. This shit is weird, yo. Like, I look at a dude like Zeke Black and it's like, this dude is like a lame, yo. Like, it's crazy. It's like 50 years old, just wants to be in the mix and wants to be like, it's one thing about reporting on what's going on, but he'd be genuinely hyped to talk to people and they just admit that he knows people or he heard of certain people. It's like, you could tell people like that never had nothing in their life. And I don't care if somebody come with he was a real nigga. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Real shit, I don't care. Because the way that he looks to me, he just looked like a lame dude that would have never been nothing around my way. So I don't know how they do it around his way. He from Harlem, so I don't know. It is what it is. But anyway, so that's my little spill on it, man. I ain't see y'all in a minute, but much love to everybody out there, man. And, like I said, man, if you out here and you throwing dirt on people's name, you ain't got no proof of it, man, you might as well just keep that shit to yourself or show the proof. Point blank, period, man. Shout out to Shoota, 9-3, solid dude from what I see, from what I hear. He's just, regular dude trying to do his thing. And, you got people out there trying to throw slander on him, man. So shout out to him. Shout out to everybody that fuck with me. It's your boy Smallito signing out, man. Much love to everybody. Peace.